وَأَتِمُّوا الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, and complete your fast until the night. And that is very clear in the Quran. And then Quran, whatever the Quran said is ultimate. It is nothing can be changed and no one can challenge it and no one can make it undo. When the Quran said, how we start the fasting, Allah said in the Quran, حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَسْوَدِ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَبْيَضِ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ. When you see in the east, it is the west and that is the east. When you see the east, that the white thread is distinct from the black thread. Means, when you see the light coming out from the east, that is a time to stop eating and drinking. That's we call the subah in Arabic, and in English we call it dawn, or in Tagalog bukang leway. When the light coming out from the east, that is the meaning of starting off fast. You cannot eat anymore because there is a light coming out. You don't need to wait for the whole horizon to become white. No. Not everything is light, or you don't need to wait for the sunrise. Once you see the light coming out from the east, that's you have to stop eating now. No drink, no eat. Similarly, the Prophet Muhammad SAW even said also, when the sun goes down and when the darkness coming out from the east, so that's the west, that the sun is going down here, and when the darkness is coming out from here, then you can break your fast. So what is the meaning? It's not just the sunset, but you need to wait for the darkness to come out. Because Allah said in the Quran very clearly, ثُمَّ أَتِمُّوا الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ, then complete the fast until the layl. Layl means is night. There are 4 kinds. Subah, morning. Nahar, the day. Masa, the evening. And the last is night, layl. How you can justify this? How you can say, Maghrib, the sunset, and I'm going to eat right away. Even it's all white, there is no darkness at all. Zero darkness. How you can deny the Quran? How you can reject the Quran? You are fasting for 14 hours and you doesn't want to wait for another 20 minutes to make sure that there is a darkness coming out. And you have evidence in the hadith, even the Prophet Muhammad, there are the hadiths when he is breaking fast after Maghrib. And it is logical also. Rather than you delay your Maghrib and you are making hassle now, you are rushing now, I have to fast and I have to pray. No need to do all this. Pray in Maghrib and break your fast. That is logical. That is convenient. And this is not from myself or yourself, it is from the Quran. The one who commands us to fast, he gave us a timetable. The timetable is when the dawn come out, the light come out from the east, you have to stop eating now. And when the darkness come out from the east again, then you have to break the fast. Because darkness will always come out from the east because the sun is going down here. So the darkness will come out. There will be still light there on the west, but on the east there will be already the coming out the darkness. Opposite in the morning, the sun coming out from there in the east, so that the light will come out first from there. And then the darkness will go away from here in the last. Because sun was already setting there, so there is still the light coming out from there. So it is a phenomenon of the universe which Allah made for us, and He made for us a timetables. Like He make a new moon to start the month, and the moon finishes, you have to consider at the finish of the month. The same way He make a timetable for fasting. Bukang liwayway, or the dawn or the morning light coming out, that is starting the fasting. And when the darkness come out from there, you have to break your fast. And it is according to the Quran, very clearly, Summati Musyama in al-layl. If it is Maghrib, for example, then Allah should say it in the Quran, Summati Musyama in al-Maghrib. Or if it is, you have to fast until evening, Sham, in Urdu or in Arabic is Masa, then Allah should say it in the Quran, Summati Musyama ilal Masa. But what Allah said in the Quran, Summati Musyama ilal Layl. Now logically to think about that, what Allah said, Layl, night, check the Maghrib time. Did you see any sign of the night? Did you see any darkness on the Maghrib time? Nothing, zero darkness. It's all is paliwanag. It's all light. It's all illuminating. Everywhere there is a light. How you can break your fast? When Allah is saying and commanding in the Quran, Summati musiyama ilalay. And you say, no, the scholar told me this and this. No. Even if in any hadith can contradict the Quran, we don't follow the hadith because this hadith is already fabricated. Because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if someone said that I said this, and if it is against the Quran, then I did not say this. Someone is making against him. Somebody is making in his name that Prophet said like this. So any of the hadith which is contradicting the Quran, the Prophet said, I never said this. Because Prophet will never say something against the Quran. And there is no evidence for the people who are breaking the fast after Maghrib. There is no such evidence. Where is the evidence that the Prophet Muhammad sitting down and say, okay, before Maghrib we can going to break fast? No. But there are hadiths when the Prophet Muhammad was breaking fast after Maghrib. Not just the Prophet Muhammad, even in the time of the Umar and in the time of the Osman, they used to break fast after Maghrib. There are many hadiths for this. So why we are being fooled and why we are being blinded by those facts? Because we are not reading the Quran. When you read the Quran, then you can get the facts. Then no one can misguide you. So what is our priority? To follow the Quran. What happened to the previous people, the Jews and Christians? They changed their book, the Torah, the Injil, the Zabur, they changed it. So they are become misguided. For our last nation, the last ummah, the ummah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, Allah protected the Quran. The hadiths are already changed. There are many hadiths or fabricated hadiths made by the people, which is already fabricated and changed. So there is no need for us to follow those hadiths. We need to follow the Quran and we need to follow the hadiths which is according to Quran, which are not contradicting with the Quran. Then we will be not misguided. So very clear for us, the timetable for Salah is, the timetable for fasting is dawn, morning, when the light come out from the east, and then the breaking of the fast is when the sun set, you need to wait for the darkness to come out. When you see the darkness on the east, little darkness coming out, you can feel it, it's like the starting of the night, you can break your fast. We doesn't need to wait until whole night, or we doesn't need to wait until all darkness, no. That's not said by the Prophet Muhammad. He told us to fast early, to break fast early as possible. But it doesn't mean, early means that you can go and fast after Asr. No, you cannot break your fast after Asr. Similarly, you cannot break your fast on the sunset because the condition is layl, the night. Gabi in Tagalog. The condition of breaking your fast is night. And the night doesn't mean Maghrib, the sunset. Because sunset is not considered as night in any language of the world. English, Tagalog, Urdu, any country in the world, Pakistan, America, China, Vietnam, no country called it the sunset is a light. Tell me one human being in the world who can call the sunset is light. No one can say the sunset is night because everybody knows the sunset is not night. Night is related to darkness. The morning is related to light. When there is a darkness come out, we call it a night. When the light is coming out, we call it morning. When too much light, we call it a day. And when there is a little bit, when there is no sun, when the sunset and is still no light, we call it evening. It is simple language. Even the small children, they know what is the meaning of night. Night is related to darkness. But the easiness in the Islam and the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad, he told us, we doesn't need to wait for the all darkness. Don't need that everything darkness, then you are going to break your fast after Isha. No. We need to wait for the starting of darkness. So what is it? 20 minutes. 20 minutes is good enough that the darkness is coming out from the east. You can go and check the timetable also on the internet, timeanddate.com, and check what is the time of ending of civil twilight. There are 3 kinds of twilight. Civil twilight, nautical twilights, and astronomical twilights. What is the start of the civil twilight? From the Fajr time, morning time. Civil twilight, nautical twilights, and astronomical twilights. And what is the end of civil twilights? Then when there is a little darkness come out, it's finishing the twilights, the lights is coming, finishing on the east. We call it the ending of civil twilight. And it takes like 20 minutes. So if Maghrib time is 6:03, after 20 minutes, finish for Maghrib, then break your fast. Then you have a good enough time to eat until Isha. You're not going to lecture at Maghrib. You already fulfill your obligation of Maghrib. And now you are going to eat. And then you wait for Isha. Then when you pray Isha and Tarawih, you are already digested. And you want to eat some more or you want to sleep, it's up to you. So Allah gave us the perfect religion. People are changing it. The people are trying to manipulate it without any evidence. So we have our biggest evidence is the Quran. And Allah said in the Quran, وَتِمُّ الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ, and complete your fast until the night. And no one can overrule, no one can override this law of Allah, the command of Allah. If somebody wants to change the law of Allah, and he's a kafir, he's a disbeliever. No one has dared to change the command of Allah. No one in the world can call the sunset is light unless you have a mental disturbance, until you are not normal human being. Everyone knows the night means there should be a little darkness. So that's very clearly we're educated people. We know what Allah is mean to say and what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ explained us very clearly. The Prophet also says, ﷺ, when the sun set and when ha-huna, he make the sign in the east. Ha-huna, when the darkness comes out from here, you can break your fast. So he will very clearly say the two conditions. The first condition is to look around, and the second condition is the sunset, the darkness must come out from the east. So there is people now, they might criticize you, why you are breaking fast very late. Never mind the people. Most of the people always misguided. Even the time of Adam, Prophet Noah, Prophet Moses, Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, always the majority was always on the wrong side. Minority always on the right side. So never mind what people can say, what people can talk against you. We have to follow the command of Allah. And you have to follow the fear of the Prophet ﷺ. May Allah guide us.